Today, I'm gonna try to find the most incredibly beautiful snake that I work with, starting with Night Fury. It's a solid black snake, so you don't think a colorful animal when you think of a black snake, but the fact is that the iridescent shimmer of this animal makes it absolutely incredible, especially if you get it outside in the sun in the summertime. It just absolutely is like a rainbow snake. This, of course, is a motley golden child reticulated python, one of the most beautiful snakes on the planet. There's no doubt about that. I tell you what, no matter how many times I see Night Fury, I never get sick of seeing this absolutely rainbow shimmer. One of the most gorgeous naturally occurring snakes would happen to be the emerald tree boa. This happens to be what they call a northern emerald tree boa, which is basically just the more common one. There's actually the Amazon basin that has more white on it, or red, and they go through an octogenic color change to turn into this beautiful green animal. One of the largest teeth on any non-venomous snake. I have loved emerald tree boa since I was a kid. Take a look at Carl. I mean, they always perch like this. They hardly ever move, and they're always beautiful. I tell you what, if you want a really cool picture, you can always get a great picture of an emerald tree boa. This happens to be an extreme tangerine Honduran milk snake. Ooh, doggy, that thing is absolutely incredible. This is actually what they call a polygenically bred animal. So it's a recessive albino, but then it's bred for this orange extreme patterning that makes it absolutely incredible. And I want to know from you guys, as I'm going through this video, what animal you think is the most beautiful animal you've seen in this video. Ever since the first time I saw albino Honduran milk snakes, I was blown away. And now that they've been bred over the last 15, 20 years to make really cool extreme designer morphs, that is one gorgeous snake. When it comes to corn snakes, there can't be much more incredibly impressive animals than the palmetto corn snake. Recessive mutation that comes out like this. And like I always talk about with Perdita, the cow reticulated python, they're born white and then get all the speckles as they get older. These guys actually are born with all the speckles, so it's really cool. Some have very little speckles on them, and some are really speckly, just like this guy here. Palmetto corn snakes are absolutely fantastic. What do you say we take a break from looking at reptiles and go have some fun?
Jay, how do you get it in there?
Mike, you just do it. What do you mean? Open up the side on the magazine, the handle, the magazine.
Oh, I see.
You and Mike having the same problems?
No.
So why don't we load up the Orbeez?
Oh, that's satisfying.
Oh, now don't shoot it yet, Dad.
I'm gonna shoot it.
Laura, are you gonna play?
No.
Mike, God, I'm never going to the range with him. He literally just accidentally hit the trigger 5 times.
I remember the first time that I saw the very first scaleless corn snakes. I was absolutely blown away. You guys know I love scaleless stuff. Well, then over time, we bred them into all kinds of different things. And of course, there's something that's called an Abbott's Okatee, which is an Okatee corn snake that's polygenically bred for the biggest, widest kind of saddles around. And then when you put them into scaleless, it makes them even better. So this is actually a scaleless Abbott's Okatee corn snake. I tell you what, that thing looks like something you'd see in Halloween. It is absolutely stunning. These guys still blow me away every time I see them. These are what they would call coral snow corn, sometimes called a salmon snow corn as well, polygenically bred, which just basically just means that you're breeding the best of a certain color trait. In this case, we're breeding for pink color. And generation after generation of continuing breeding the pinkest animals, I never thought we would get to a point where we have this kind of fluorescent pink corn snake. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it just keeps getting better and better each generation. And that's what it's all about when you selectively breed for a specific phenotype, or what they would call a color phase. And who knows what the future is going to be? How pink can these get? I don't know, because they're pretty darn pink right now.
Why not?
This is an unusual animal. As a matter of fact, so unusual that when I bought this pair of albino wolf snakes, they were the only albino wolf snakes in the entire country. Now, I don't know if any more came in. They've been breeding them over in Europe. Wolf snakes in themselves are kind of a duller animal. Once you get them into an albino, it's one of the more interesting albinos that I've ever seen. Just really white and red, cool patterns, and they're really interesting animals. I've never bred these guys before. So this next year, we may have them up to size to be able to breed them. I tell you what, I am excited about this project. One of the cooler albinos I've ever worked with. Gray-banded king snake. This is what they would call an alterna phase, which just means that it has like kind of skinny black bands. There's actually something that's called a Blair's phase that has wide orange bands as well. These guys are native to western Texas and are absolutely an incredible little king snake. I have loved these guys forever. They can be a little bit tricky when they're babies when it comes to eating because they like to eat lizards. But once you get feeding on pinkies, they do absolutely wonderful. And they're just really cool. These are what they would call a mimicry animal because there's something that's called a banded rock rattlesnake. And basically, this is the exact color and pattern of a banded rock rattlesnake. But of course, the gray banded king snakes aren't venomous at all. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, hey, Speedy. I used to say the most viewed snake on Instagram was the pied Musarana rat snake, because back in the day, whenever anyone would post a picture of a pied Musarana rat, it would literally get millions and millions of views. Now I'm not sure if it's true. There's so many amazing, gorgeous snakes out there. I'm so excited to hear what you are going to say down in the comments about what animal you think is the most beautiful. While you're in the comments, do me a favor, hit that like button. Can you subscribe to the channel too? It would mean a lot to me. These guys can get up to 8 foot, so this is actually just a little one right now. It's going to get way bigger, and they are super impressive. I love little house snakes, and this is one of my favorite of all of the house snakes, what they call the Aurora house snake. Whenever you get into that green snake, much like we showed you Carl earlier, the emerald tree ball, it's really impressive. And this is a different color green. It's like an olive green. And then you can see it's got that orange little stripe down its back. It's really cool. These guys are native to South Africa, but they can also be found in Botswana and a few other regions across Africa. Just a really cool house snake. Typically, house snakes are either brown or maybe black even, but the green ones are really interesting. And I tell you what, I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful snake. I'm not sure that I'm going to categorize as the most beautiful snake, but definitely one of the most unusual snakes that I have ever kept in my entire life. And that, of course, is the Cape file snake. They are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but they're just so interesting because their scales are super rough and they have this kind of bone that comes down their back. They have an interesting color and pattern as well, in my opinion. So I still think they're absolutely gorgeous, but again, it's the uniqueness that I think is the really beautiful in the Cape file snake. Not to mention they move and act completely weird. Next year will be the first year that we could potentially produce. There's not hardly any of them in the country. And I think these guys are going to be some of the most popular up-and-coming colubrid snakes there is. Just really cool, the Cape file snake. Piebald ball pythons on their own are absolutely incredible, but when you start mixing really cool mutations into them, they absolutely go crazy. This is a super orange green fire leopard piebald ball python. Take a look at the color and pattern on that animal there. Wow, that's incredible. The thing that's really cool is that I can take this to a normal pied female, because everything that I'm breeding in this is actually incomplete dominant. We could actually reproduce this very gene in the first generation, just bringing it to a normal female pied. Heavy contrast is amazing, especially when it comes to snakes. When you get an animal like this that's almost like black and white, not quite black and white, but this is actually a blackhead, black pastel, piebald ball python. The blackhead and black pastel are both incomplete dominant, so we could produce supers of either one of those. The super blackhead, super black pastel will be a black and white snake. Really black, really white. Gonna be absolutely amazing. Plus, I can put this into all kinds of other stuff. This animal alone is incredible. I love the blushing in it. This is definitely top 10 animals I've ever had in my entire life when it comes to just shock value and how gorgeous it is.
Wait, can we just get a shot real quick of Dad? Everyone just shooting at him.
Just like Night Fury, the black reticulated python, it's always shocking to me how many people love black snakes. I think it's amazing, and this is a Suma ball python, which is actually a super mahogany ball python. Just basically like a solid black. Well, a little bit of an off-color black, but still amazing. But every time I do a poll where I say, would you rather have a Suma ball python or a brightly colored ball python, the black ball pythons always outperform with the polls by a lot. I mean, we're talking like 2 or 3 to 1. So black snakes, even though they don't have a lot of color, are still super gorgeous and super sought after. Mangrove snakes are amazing on their own, especially that jet black and yellow patterning. But this subspecies of the divergent, this is the cream of the crop. This is the gem of all of them. They got this beautiful grayish blue color that comes through to them, and as they get older, they get more and more grayish blue. Really amazing animals. Definitely dreamt of owning these guys for a long, long time. So to have a pair of them now, getting bigger, maybe in a year or so, ready to breed, I tell you what, I am so stoked to see little baby divergent someday. To me, Neo is kind of the best of all worlds, right? You've got the black like Night Fury because it's a motley golden child. You've got that shimmer and beautiful rainbow look, but then you have that juxtaposition of the pied white animal. So you've got that unbelievable contrast between black and white. And unlike Perdita, it's going to stay this way its whole life. Perdita's going to continue to get darker and darker, but Neo is going to stay this stark white backdrop with this jet black. Goodness, is this animal incredible now. It was beautiful as a baby, and it's going to be even more incredible when it's 14 or 15 foot, and it's growing fast. That animal, it's going to be hard to top. top. Perdita, my girl, definitely one of my favorite snakes I've ever owned. There's no doubt about that. Of course, a cow reticulated python. If you guys remember when I first got Perdita, she was solid white. She had one little dot of black on her, and then over the years, she's gotten more and more black. It's pretty interesting how cows develop melanin, that black pigment, as they get older. And she just shed a couple days ago, so she still has that kind of iridescence that Night Fury has with that black in it, but then the white freckles, it's almost like a cookies and cream. I tell you, reticulated pythons are amazing, but cow reticulated python, definitely one of the coolest ones. Another reticulated python, of course, Al the Machino reticulated python. The Machino is actually a mocha times a lavender albino, making it a Machino. That is one incredibly beautiful snake. Again, a lot different colors than a lot of this, because it has this kind of caramely yellow, beautiful rich colors, almost like of autumn or something like that. I tell you what, Al is definitely one of the favorites here at the Reptarium. When people come and get a chance to hold him, he is a sweetheart. He's absolutely incredible. And that head right there, wow, that takes a cake. The yellow on that thing, it doesn't get much better than that. So let me know in the comments which animal you think is the most beautiful. It was amazing checking all those animals out. Speaking about, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember,
This can't be your new thing.
it's gotta be. I've got no choice.